Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For anyone that's new here, my name is Sarah and I am an ultramarathon runner. And today I'm going to tell you about my next race, give you an overall catch up, kind of the last 6 months actually, and also tell you where and why I'm moving and leaving France. But this is all in today's video. It was not an easy one to make, but I hope you enjoy a watch.
And how are you feeling right now, today, before we even get into it?
I don't want to make the video. I don't want to put this in the world because it makes it real. If I'm honest, I'm pretty devastated about what I'm going to talk about in the video. Pretty upset, but also full of hope. Yeah, full of hope.
So if you had to sum up this year in 3 words, what would they be?
Experience. Unexpected. I don't use this word to describe myself, but I do think there's an element of resilience here. So yeah, resilience.
And is there something that you haven't said publicly that you want to say now?
Yeah, probably just how different life on social media can look compared to what it is like. Because I will say this is amazing, but I've had so many messages of people being like, wow, I'm so jealous, what an opportunity. But it's like, I created this opportunity and it has not come without so many sacrifices. It's like how the conflict of what you put online to show the behind the scenes and to allow people to not just think it's easy, because it's not. And maybe for some people it is easy, but this has not been easy. And yeah, that's just probably the main thing.
Mozart 100.
Ugh!
Do you want to do a quick recap? What actually happened?
Yeah, so if you haven't seen my last race, Mozart 100, I'd actually put in way more hope on that than I really should have. The run-up was wasn't dreadful, but the run-up wasn't great. Obviously, I'd moved countries, which is stressful. I had my ankle injury on the run-up, so we hadn't really done any long runs. And also, yeah, my ferritin was really low, so I was really struggling with fatigue. But I'd also put in a lot of hope to get my next visa to live in France from that result, and I had really hoped that I just put a lot of hope into that race. It didn't come to fruition on the day, and that's really hard. All the kind of opportunities or possibilities that I thought could come from that result obviously didn't happen, and that's okay. That's just the sport, but it doesn't make it any easier at points. And I really struggled after that race. I really struggled. I'm still struggling to process that.
You said at the time, I didn't feel like I had an option. Do you still feel that way looking back?
Yeah, I don't feel like I had a choice in doing it from no other pressure than my own. Nobody was asking me to do it. Nobody was putting pressure on me to do it, but I felt to myself I had no choice to do that race. I'd also spent lots of money doing it, lots of time. Should I have waited a month and tried to do another race with maybe a better ankle? Yeah, probably, but I didn't have the money to do that. And I think as an amateur athlete, it's one of those things of when you commit to a race that's this big, but when you don't have a lot of money, you just have to try. And I think for that race, it was better that I tried. I got a lot of experience, so yeah.
How would you say that the DNF and the ankle has changed your training since?
The DNF hasn't changed the training at all, I would say. Because you just train for it doesn't matter. But the ankle injury obviously impacted how I came back from training, and it still impacts me I'm still building up confidence again. I'm still doing all the rehab, but again, I'm so accepting it's the nature of the sport, and it's just I do have the fear that something will happen again. But you can't live in fear, or you'd never run again, so it's just rebuilding the confidence, I guess.
And has your relationship with training shifted? Is it still fun, or has that changed?
I think for the 2-3 weeks after Mozart, I didn't want to train at all. I still trained, but I didn't want to. I had no desire to at all. Now there is definitely days I can't be bothered, but we all have those days, and I'm starting to find some joy in the harder sessions and really trying to be present in the moment when I'm training. So what has shifted is we're not so focused on heart rate zones. I'm more doing it off RPE, rate of perceived exertion. And I think that's just given me a little bit less pressure to constantly hit all the zones. I'm just doing it on feel, which, yeah, might change as we get, it might change soon. But I think right now where my body's at, where my mind's at, shifting to RPE has been quite useful.
So we've dodged around it. The big one, you're moving back.
Yeah.
Why? Why now?
I am moving back purely because of visas. Not gonna lie, visas is the only reason I'm moving back. If I was staying in France, I would possibly move either just further up into the town so there's more people, or I would possibly move to somewhere with more expats, somewhere like Chamonix and the Alps where there is more English speaking people, because it does get lonely. But I'm only moving back because visas and money, basically.
And was this building for a while, or was there something that tipped it?
I was going to try and fight and stay. I was going to think I would move to Spain on a different visa, but it just wasn't. One, I don't know if it was even possible, but there were so many barriers and so many financial costs that it made no sense to try that, and I wouldn't be able to go and race or anything. Like, I wouldn't have the money to do that. So it was an incredibly hard decision to then be like, okay, I'm not going to just stay and try and scrap this out, because there's also an element of, well, you can't scrap out a visa. Like, you either meet the requirements or you don't. And my car had to come back to the UK. So yeah.
This could be. Are there parts of the decision you're still unsure about?
Yeah, I feel like, what if I've given up too easily? What if moving back? What if I get stuck? What if I don't actually apply everything that I've learned and experienced here or changed here? I think that's something that I would, and it is just that question of like, what if? But you can't, once the decision's made, I can't think like that. And I do know deep down that I've made the most adult decision, and probably the only feasible financial decision. So
What does Font-Romeu and the Pyrenees mean to you now versus when you first arrived?
I didn't read all these questions. I think this was an adventure when I first arrived, and now it does feel way more like a home. Because when I arrived, it was snowing and cold, and yeah, it was a whirlwind. And I think now, I'd say maybe the past 3-4 weeks, I felt like I've really started to settle. I think since I've got back running again from Mozart, I've felt much more myself here, and finally starting to feel more like a home than a holiday.
What's something France taught you that has nothing to do with running?
France has taught me that things don't change because of your location, but it can really help. France has taught me what I need from a home, and it has allowed me to explore maybe more my neurodiversity of what makes me feel more settled and more able to live my life in a way that works for me.
What will you miss?
The mountains. I will miss the way of life here. I will miss some of the cultural aspects. I will miss the smooth roads. I will miss the lack of litter. I will miss the peacefulness of it all. I will also just miss the mountains. I will miss the friends that I've started to make. And I will miss I will miss it all. There's, apart from being able to speak the language and the lack of gluten, it's some of the isolation and my very cold apartment, there's nothing I won't miss. Like, I'll just miss it.
And what won't you miss?
I won't miss not being able to speak language. It's a very hard language to learn. I won't miss just like everyday tasks being really hard. It's like even trying to like cancel the Wi-Fi. You have to phone them in French, and I can't speak. Again, all my fault. Can't speak the language properly. But it's all just that, like, I will not miss it. Everyday tasks being super hard. But in time that would change because I've learned the language.
Would you do it again, knowing what you know now?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Julian Alps?
So I have signed up for my next race. Julian Alps in Slovenia. It's 120k with, I believe, 5,600 meters of climbing, roughly. I literally signed up for it last week. That's how long it took me from Mozart, which was in May. So it's taken me nearly a month and a half to 2 months to actually work out what I'm going to do next, compared to the ARC where I signed up the week after the ARC for Mozart. So I really took time to reassess and to just reset. So yeah, we've got Julian Alps in September.
And does this one feel different, given everything that's happened this year?
This one feels like it could be a bit of a stupid decision, because I am very aware that the ARC, I was prepping to move country. Mozart, I had not long moved country. And Julian Alps, I will be moving country again. But it also feels like my last shot at trying to get into UTMB for 2027, basically. There's, you could do other races, but I am not in a financial position to be just popping over different countries and hopping into races. So it feels, but again, I feel weirdly less pressure that I'm putting on myself for this, when I'm like, so much has gone on this year, let's just go and have a bit of a runabout and see another country. I've never been to Slovenia. That's exciting. Yeah, so there's a lot of mixed feelings about it, I think, and there's a lot of questions of am I good enough?
What does success look like this time? And has that definition changed since Mozart?
No. Success to me looks like going out and doing the absolute best I can on the day. Ideally, that would be my body fully functioning, fuel going to plan, and I get a nice race result and a podium. I think actually, and also I think success is doing the best I can, but also there's an element of feeling absolutely spent at the finish, because the ARC, Mozart, even the NC 500, I didn't feel like I'd given it my all. But my body had other ideas, but I didn't feel like I was ready to be done. So I would love to finish this race feeling like I was burst, I was done. Yeah.
I love that answer. I'm just going to add in one here. What's the hardest thing about being an amateur and trying to make it pro as an ultramarathon runner?
Oh, aye. So much. And it feels one of the hardest things is talking about it, because it feels kind of embarrassing to talk about it and kind of shameful, like I shouldn't be struggling. That because I do believe I'm capable of more, and I think we have the data to show I'm capable of more, but I haven't actually done more yet. It's like, how do I find some people to take a chance on me? How do I navigate that? But also, how do I keep believing in myself, and how do I keep showing up every day when it does feel like there's a lot of barriers? And to be honest, a lot of it is financial. Like, so much of it is financial barriers of traveling, training, trying to think, God, do I buy a new pair of shoes this month, or do I try and go to physio, or do I get sports massage? Like, you have to balance it all, and in an ideal world, I would have a proper shoe rotation, or I would not be worrying about, well, do I just try and take carry-on bags to the race because that's cheaper? It's all these things of elements that really do contribute to the racing, and do they contribute to performance? And if you're not performing, you're not going to get sponsored. I think it's almost that shame of not being there yet, trying to work out how to do that, but also the difficulty in showing up every day, trying to believe you're good enough, but not really sure. And even then thinking, I also the comparisons. I don't like comparing myself to other people, but the comparisons of people who you probably know you're a bit faster than, somehow they get more opportunities, but then it's thinking it's not they get them, they've earned them, they've done stuff for them, so it's a roller coaster.
Oh, sometimes they just have money.
I know.
Okay, what's a hope that you're still holding on to, even if it feels uncertain right now?
That I'm holding on to the hope that I will make a home somewhere, whatever country that's in. I don't know yet, but even if it's in Scotland, I will make a home that now meets the needs that I've learned. And I'm holding on to the hope that I will have a bloody good race sometime. Ideally qualifying for UTMB and Julian Alps. However, I hold on to the hope that I can do this.
If nothing went wrong for the rest of the year, what would you want to happen?
Where's the fun in nothing going wrong? I don't think that's not possible. Something will always go wrong, and it could be a lot worse off. But if it was smooth sailing, I would somehow acquire a visa somewhere. I would be sponsored. I would have had performances that I feel reflect my data and my training, and it would be moving my career forward, not only in running, but through my social media, but also through the job I don't talk about much online. Is like, I am a counsellor, I'm a therapist, so there's a lot of ideas I have there that I want to pursue, and it would be moving that forward.
What do you hope people take from watching you go through this year?
I think I would hope that people take that not giving up, but it is hard. I would like people to take the authenticity of, yeah, it's hard, and it's okay that it's hard. You can still pick yourself back up, and actually, if there's a point where you're like, no, this doesn't serve me anymore, to let it go, because you can pick yourself back up, but it might not be moving you forward. So I think to pick yourself back up in a direction that moves you forward.
Okay, closing rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
One thing you're proud of from this year?
I am proud. It's weird, it doesn't feel like I've got anything to be proud of. But yeah, I'm proud I tried. I'm proud I keep trying.
What's one thing that you'd tell yourself at the start of the year?
I never know the point of this question. You just keep going, mate. Don't, the start of the year, it's going to be like every year in your life. Nothing's going to go to plan. It's going to be hard. You're going to get through it. You're going to be fine.
What's next after Julian Alps?
I don't know. We'll get to Julian Alps. And if we've qualified for UTMB, then we will be, I don't know what we'll be doing. We'll be doing something. And if we've not qualified for UTMB, we'll be trying to think of the next race to qualify for UTMB. Yeah, I don't know what's going to be after Julian Alps. We'll see. No idea.
And last question. Anything you want to say directly to the people who've stuck around this year?
Thank you. Just thank you so much for believing in me and showing up when I was struggling to show up. I think there's a select few people who will probably have been like, we're not going through this again, are we, Sarah? Really, we're doing this again? And they've just stuck around. and that is something that is really special to me. And there's certain people who have helped me navigate processes that I never thought I would do in my life. That has been really cool to open my world up. And I think what I would like to say to those people is actually take on the thanks. Don't feel awkward about it. Like, be okay with me, or anyone to be fair, saying thank you. You actually had such a positive impact on my life, and acknowledging that and sitting with it. Yeah. So is that us?
Yeah. Any questions that you want
No,
me
I
to
just
ask?
want to say thank you so much for watching, guys. And it hasn't been an easy video.